We are here live on Egypt Power Huddle because Linnea is in Greece. Lucky dog, lucky dog. Anyway, so I decided to step in and talk about my new best friend. His name is Fello. And he has been diving into our database of 86,000 people and pulling sellers out. How cool is that, right? So, I don't know, me being a techie kind of girl, how I missed this. Like, it's been around for a while and I didn't even know about it. So kind of embarrassed. Like, how do I run a Tech Tuesday and not know about Fello? But anyway, I know about them now. And I brought Goss here to kind of fill you guys in on exactly what Fello does. I know I'm just in love with all the hand raisers we're getting. Like, seriously, our notifications are just nonstop. Like, people wanting to know their value, adding other homes that they own right to our database. So I'm going to turn this over to Goss, and then I'm going to show you a couple things after we're done. This is a 30-minute call, so we'll try to keep it that short. I know I'm used to having an hour of talking, but anyway, we're gonna do a little crash course. And then, Goss, I did figure out the video thing, so they're working now. So I'm
okay, great, amazing.
Yes,
I love that. Well, we'll share a little bit of that once we dive in here.
All right.
Well, I'm just gonna share my screen, guys. Happy Friday, everybody. My name is Gus. I'm one of the account executives over here at Fello. And we've been working with Wendy for, what has it been, 2 months, 3 months now?
Like 2, maybe less.
Time flies when you're having fun, right? Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, what I'm going to do, guys, is just dive in and tell you a little bit about who we are and kind of why we exist. And then I'll go through and show you some of our live features. And then we'll open it up for questions. And then I'll have a QR code at the end here to scan to hop on my calendar and go through a product demo if you guys want. So what I'm going to do is just kind of share my screen here, show you a little bit about, the Fello ecosystem. So ultimately, guys, what we are a database engagement tool that focuses on sellers. And a little bit about myself. Before I was at Fello, I actually stood up and led one of the top teams in the Midwest. I helped scale that team from about 150 transactions a year to about 700 to 800 transactions a year. I had implemented Fello into my tech stack and saw what it was doing with my agents. And now I'm here helping with the Fello mission and getting to work with rock stars like Wendy and top teams and agents all across the country. So a little bit about us and who we are. Our founder and CEO, his name is Ryan Young. He owns and operates the Young team over in Cleveland. So number 1 team in Ohio, number 15 large team in the US. And reason why this is important, guys, is this is a platform that's built by agents for agents. We're not just a tech company making assumptions about what real estate agents want and need. We're in the trenches building this and testing these features with with Ryan's team and building this out and keeping our fellow agents top of mind. And so what we are, and obviously as we've kind of, evolved over the last 24 months, we've kind of realized that, hey, we're on the right side of things and why listings need to be your focus. You guys all know that. We've kind of always been a little bit of addicted to buying buyer leads and acquiring these databases over the years. And what we've learned as we've built Fello is that 5% of your database will list their home every 12 months, whether that's with or without you. And so if you have, 1,000 contacts in your database, that's 50 listings. If you have 10,000, that's 500. If you have 20,000, that's 1,000. You can do the math, so on and so forth. And so our goal is to go help you capture more of that 5% here. And this is what I typically see when I have people come to me, is that they've built these databases that have largely been comprised of either buyer, email only leads. And a lot of them don't necessarily have, the ability to identify, homeowners within their database. And so there's only 2 types of homeowners, or there's only 2 types of leads that exist in the world, either a homeowner or a renter. And so we want to go identify those within your database. And so how Fello operates is through this 3-part funnel here. Our number 1 goal is to go identify those homeowners and then nurture them until they're ready to list. And so how we operate is through, like I mentioned, through this 3-part funnel. And we're going to start at the top of this funnel by generating. And what I mean by generate is we are going to start attaching addresses to those contacts in your database that don't have addresses. And then we're going to also give you some tools that we can work into your website, your social media, any existing marketing that you have, so that you can feel comfortable knowing that if you are driving traffic or spending money on ads, that you have a tool that's sticky for homeowners and catching them right away. The next piece is we're going to automate that. So we're going to mass nurture to that entire database, but it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all seller campaign. It's going to be one-to-one messaging to that seller and their home, their financial situation and where they're at. And it's all going to be white labeled and branded. So it's all going to be coming from your name and face that they know, like, and trust. And then the next piece is we're going to give you some data to help go and convert that. So we're going to give you some predictability, some different tools, segmentation, some different filters that you can help really identify and create some intentionality around generating listings out of that database. And then we're also going to show you within that database in real time that 5% that's listing, whether that's with or without you. And that's with our real sellers report. And so I'll dive into that here in a second, but wanted to just dive in. Wendy, do you have anything that you wanted to add before I dive into the platform?
Nope, just that what he's talking about right here is like for real. And it's so crazy to watch like a database that I've been super scared of, because like you don't even know where to start. When you have that many leads, you don't know where to start, who to talk to, and they're literally just appearing out of nowhere with their hands raising, So now we know who to have conversations with. So it definitely is working.
Right. Well, awesome. Well, I'll dive in and kind of share my screen here. What it looks like to live inside of the Fello platform. Can you guys see this here? It should say dashboard up at the top left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So day one, guys, what we would do is we would take that database and upload it into the Fello platform. We have a two-way integration and sync with most CRMs. Some we have a direct integration. So for those of you that are using Follow Up Boss, we have a native integration with them, but we integrate via Zapier or RealSync with almost all CRMs. We would, like I mentioned, upload those databases into the Fello platform, start attaching addresses to them, and then pull in our own data. So we're going to pull in national mortgage, transaction, and public record data to give you price history, equity position, what their current interest rate is. We're going to show you who the owner of public record is and who they last sold with and when. And then we're going to be also pulling in AVMs. So we're actually pulling in from three main sources: CoreLogic, Atom, and Quantarium are going to be the three sources that we pull from. This is also going to show on your side of things, but also to the consumer on a dashboard that I'll show you here in a second. Then we're developing what we call a propensity score or a likelihood to sell. And this is where that predictability that I mentioned is going to come into play. So what we're going to do is we're going to take their behavior with our call to actions, right? Like, I want to sell my home, I have interested in a cash offer, whatever it might be on how we engage them. We're going to take that behavior and we're going to pair it with this data that we see here that are, in the common denominators that we see bringing homes to market, like interest rate, equity position, right? And we're going to pair those two together to give you a really high intention likelihood to sell here. That's on a scale from 1 to 100, 100 being the most likely to transact within the next 6 months. And then what we're also going to do is show you our real sellers report. We're going to show you every single person in that database of the contacts that you own, that you've purchased, that you've put sweat equity into building. And we're going to show you whether they're listing with you or without you. So this real sellers report, this purple color that you see here is what's listing with other agents. And this peachy orange color is what's listing with you. So in this database that I'm showing you here, if I hover over September of last year, 18 listings went to market in that database alone, and none of them listed with them. So now I can actually drill down on those 18 listings. What happened there? Within your database, we recognize, if you have multiple agents on your team, we recognize what agent owns what lead. If you're just a solo agent, you'll be able to identify, okay, it looks like Bradley, that particular contact, entered into this database. Here's how many times he interacted, and maybe here's where I dropped the ball. And this happens too, it looks like, Bradley listed with Chris and that was his brother and we never had a shot at that listing anyways, right? Those tend to happen as well. But ultimately, this starts to give us some visibility into that database and how we're converting it. And that 5% statement that I mentioned at the beginning may have seemed a little optimistic, but this is where we're proving to the industry really quickly that you don't need to go purchase more leads. you have opportunities sitting right in front of you. And I can say with complete conviction that 5% statement is true. Whether you have, I've worked with people with 500 contacts in their database, and I've worked with people with 2 million contacts in their database. And that 5% statement rings true across all database sizes. So our goal is to go help create that visibility and capture that within there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to engage that entire database through some different email campaigns. So one of the primary ways that we do that is going to be through a home value focused email campaign that goes out twice a month. A few points I like to make about this. It's all going to be white labeled and branded to you and your brand, coming from your name and face, as well as if they have an address listed within your database, we'll of course personalize it, as you see here with that parameter here that I'm hovering over. It says street address. If they don't, we're still going to send them an email. It's just going to say something a little bit more ambiguous. It's just going to say your home. So we're not missing out on a vast majority of our database if we don't have a home address. We go and hit that entire thing. Goal here is when they click on this home address, they actually land into what I like to call our spider web. What that's going to do is we're going to land them into a little pop-up box that says confirm your address, whether we have it or not. And what's going to happen then is when they enter that address, they're actually going to go dive in and they're going to confirm it. And then we're going to update that in your CRM for you. And then when they do that, they're going to land into what we call our custom dashboards. They're going to see all of the different content that we showcase, as well as those home estimates that we've promised. And then this dashboard is all going to be white labeled and branded to them as well, or to you as well. When they click on one of these call to actions within this dashboard here, you can see all of these buttons and call to actions listed within here. That's actually going to show up in your CRM like you currently get new leads. So no need to go man another platform or learn how to, really dive in and take care of this and add this into your workflow. If we have a two-way sync set up with your CRM, you'll be able to just manage that CRM like you currently do. And so that's an evergreen nurturing campaign that's going out every 15 days. So 24 times a year, your entire database is getting touched from a sell focus. And now that's all on autopilot. Everything that you've seen up until now is all on autopilot for you, working in the background. And what's happening is as we're building that database for you, or as we're running that campaign, we're building you this enriched organic database of homeowners. And so as you're prospecting, layering in new marketing efforts, whatever it might be, you don't have to look at a sea of, 1,000, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100,000 people, whatever it may be, and think, where do I even start? Who would I call? Why would I call them? You can actually start to segment this out. And maybe you want to look at everybody with an interest rate of over 6%. Or maybe you want to see everybody with an expired listing within that database. From a buy side perspective, and I know that we're all kind of working through this now, like how are we going to start to articulate value to our buyers? What tools do I have in my tool belt that I can say, hey, look at, this is why I'm different and this is why you should work with me. Well, now you can say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I know that there's not much in the market in your criteria, but the cool thing about myself is I actually invest in a tool that builds me an engaged database of homeowners month after month. So let's go find that square footage and that bed bath count in that neighborhood that you guys love. And we'll sort that list by people who have an equity position of X or, interest rate of X, people likely to entertain an off-market opportunity, right? We're also building out a farming feature within here too. So for those of you that are looking to grow your database, this is going to be a great tool for you to start to uncover some of those prospects that you might not necessarily have in that database as well, and provide those opportunities for your buyers. And then we have some different, yes. So then we have some different tools, automations that we can really drill down into and layer on email and direct mail on top of those buckets that I mentioned, those segments, interest rate, equity position, how they're engaging. We can get pretty creative with some things. So if people are, playing a lot with their net proceeds calculator within that dashboard that I showed, we can actually dive in and start to target them about that net proceeds calculator. Maybe even people who have a HELOC and they're utilizing that HELOC on their home, right? And then going back to the funnel that I mentioned, those tools that I talked about that we would help bake into your website, social media, whatever it might be, those are all landing pages and widgets that will work with you, all customizable. You can swap out videos, embed photos, videos, whatever you want it to be. And then each of those pages has its own unique URL and its own unique QR code to go dive in. and really make sure that you have a sticky journey for sellers, or spider web, I guess I like to say, behind any sell-focused call to actions on any of that stuff. So ultimately, guys, goal here is to create and target that database, create an engaged database, set yourself up as you're growing your database to have a seller-focused and homeowner-focused CRM and database, and capture more of that 5% that we know that will list within the next 12 months. I see some questions rolling in here. Any questions that we want to address right away? Indeed.
Yeah. So someone asked, Bonnie or Suma asked, sorry, someone freaking asked, if you find emails. So they're not a skip tracer for emails and phone numbers. They're skip tracers for addresses. So they have literally added 4,400 more addresses into my database in 2 months. So we're finding past clients actually owned multiple places that we didn't even know. Like, isn't that crazy? That's what a good relationship I had with them, apparently. Anyway, so I love it. And then the little farming that we already did that's in our database is pulling out, that person that owned in that luxury community also owns 25 other properties, and now they're going in there. I mean, it's so great. But yeah. So but we find our emails through whitepages.com. There's so many places you can go and try to find emails. So anyway, but once you get an email in there, they automatically connect with Fello, and that's when Fello starts doing that thing. But
I see Andrea asked, is it the same email every 15 days? It is not. All of our emails and the messaging that we're going to be sending, Andrea, are going to be focused around home value, but we constantly test subject lines, copy, button placements to ensure that we're not sending a redundant email every 15 days. They're getting something a little different, but the messaging is always going to be focused around them and their home. The reason being is, I think when we think about seller marketing, we think about, a lot of times people will send emails and email blasts out that say, hey, I'm this number one agent. I sold this many homes, or here's 3 steps to improve your curb appeal, or whatever it is, but it's not really ever about the consumer and what's in it for me. And that hook and that worm that we cast out into that sea that you guys have is about them. And that's where we pull them in. And then the minute they confirm that address with us, then we can start to brag about ourselves as an agent a little bit within that dashboard. Here are my seller tools. Here are my programs. Here's how I've, marketed myself within your neighborhood, whatever it is. And that's kind of the difference between that. So long-winded answer to you, Andrea, about the email every 15 days, but it's there. So we got.
Awesome. And then I was wondering, can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm going to stop share there. So about that different email every 15 days, this is what one of the things I love. So I'm able to put a different video in every time they look at their home value, right? So yeah, the email will say something a little different, but when they go to look at it, like they're going to see different, like I have my Snow White video, like see how I tell a story about a home, right? So you're showing them how you are, marketing other homes, talk about private viewing. So you could talk to certain people about luxury, and you set up the price point, you set up the filter. So everybody over this amount of money will see these videos, and everybody under this amount of ABM will see other videos. So like you can literally talk to your people. Like I love this. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So we can actually create different dashboard versions of that dashboard to show to different people at different criteria. So when Wendy has decided, hey, I want to show people that have opened and different price points, different videos. If you are, focused on maybe a seller financing tool or whatever, that you have a partnership with your lender, whatever it is, you can show people that have an interest rate of over a certain percent, a certain call to action. Or if you say, hey, I sponsor this sports team in this neighborhood or community within it, you can say, hey, I only want to show people within that community my a call to action or a video about my sponsorship with that sports team or whatever it is. But our goal here is really to increase the relevancy of the messaging that we're sending, because it's really so important to show that right messaging to the right person at the right time. And so we want to make sure that we're obviously targeting them from a, I guess, capture method of about their home, but then we can really show them the most value and tailor it to them once we get them into that dashboard.
Right. And Mary, my homeboy. Yeah. So this is HomeBot on steroids, like times 100. So, but I get it. When we first got Fello, like we were running comps, we wanted to make sure the value was what we thought the value would be. And we noticed it was a little off. So they do have a feature that once you like figure out like that percentage, like it was 5% too low, you can actually across the board raise everybody's by 5%. So you just kind of figure out, like, do your homework, just like you do at HomeBot. Like when I got HomeBot leads, right, or the home values, like I would go in there, we would go in and look at the C of A, look to see what they're coming in at and see if it's correct. And if it wasn't correct, you can change it. So you could do that here, or you could do it across the whole board and be like, okay, we need to raise it 5% or 6% or whatever it is. And then everybody's will go up. So I really like that because HomeBot didn't have that. You had to do that individually.
Sure.
It's tough. Can you show us how to do that? I can. Hold on. I think it's in my settings. I don't know. I did it like a couple months ago when we first started. So if we go to this and this, I think it was under my settings. Account right here. So go to your picture, your settings, go to account, and right here, we had to increase it all by 8%. And so now everybody's is pretty darn accurate. Does that help?
So you'll notice the disclaimer under this where it says increase by. So it says, for example, a home value of 300K, we will update to 324K.
Yeah. So anyway, super, super cool tools. What other questions do we have? And you could maybe share your QR code so people can start scamming and talk to you about their database. I did get rid of HomeBot because I don't want them getting multiple things. Fello actually reaches out to them twice a month. So 24 times a year, that's huge. And so, yeah, I got rid of HomeBot altogether because I want them just to focus on this. And everybody has their own unique URL too. So you can actually share it. Like I started going into my past clients and I was like, hey, I'm using this super new cool tool for home values. Here is your personal link. I'd love to know your feedback. Do you think it's high? Do you think it's low? So that's another way you could reach out to your people. So because I was a little paranoid because everybody loved HomeBot so much, but I have past clients saying that this is so much easier to use and that they love it so much more. So I'm excited. I don't feel like I got rid of anything good. This is awesome. How long does it take to set up? Guys?
Yeah, well, looking like about 7 to 10 business days is what I say to set like a proper expectation. Realistically, for us, you'll actually get a dedicated success manager and a dedicated solution engineer that will handle the build out and integration of everything for you. So as quick as they get their deliverables is about as quick as we can get you set up. So, but about 7 to 10 business days currently.
Okay, and then when they confirm email address or when they confirm street address, Mary, what is that? I don't know what you're talking about.
When Goss is talking, oh, sorry, I've got two things going. Let me just turn down the volume. Sorry. When Goss mentioned as soon as they confirm their address, I wasn't sure if he meant email or snail mail.
When we're engaging them The primary way that we engage them is going to be through email, but when we engage them and they want to enter into their dashboard, we're going to ask them to confirm their address, their home address.
Yeah, they'll say, yes, this is my home, and then boom, there's their stuff. And then they can even add in multiple addresses, but we use the enrichment, that's how they added in 4,400 more properties. So that's just huge.
And if we know already that they have multiple addresses, can we enter them in to start with?
Yes. Yep, absolutely. We already did that too. We figured that out. But yeah, you just add it to the property and then it automatically boom, pops in everything. It's kind of cool. And then if you use follow-up boss, I am in love with those cards, guys. Thank you for
you got it.
You have to turn that on. So basically we're in follow-up boss and I'm in one of my sellers and it has everything right on the right-hand side. So you don't even need to go into Fello. You can see what it expired for, what it's worth now, the propensity score, everything is right there on all the properties. So when you're making calls, it makes it super easy because everything is right there on your dashboard. So follow-up boss for the win. Do you follow up whether they checked out the email or not? Absolutely. Always follow up. And they actually have some really good scripts for following up, because not everybody's ready to sell their home right this second, right? So the scripting is a little bit different as far as, seller scripts. So I really like it.
And I'm happy to also share, our founder, Ryan, did a challenge about a month or two ago where he set 30 listing appointments in 30 days out of his existing database. And he packaged all of his scripts up and templates and stuff. And so I'm happy to share that package with you. If you guys just want to, I'll put my email in the chat here. If you guys just want to shoot me an email and let me know that you want those scripts and templates, I'd be happy to share that with you, and I'm even happy to share it with you regardless of whether you're a Fello client or not. So we're big on contribution.
Awesome.
Cool.
Hi, Alec. Sorry, I haven't seen his face forever. Okay. What is enrichment? Enrichment was finding more addresses. So they're taking what we have already in there and they're adding, if they own other properties, they're putting them right into our database. And then they're sending them an email about that home's value. So I do have a question. When someone has multiple addresses, they don't get 20 emails, right? It's just one email with all the addresses, or how does that work?
Yeah, so they'll get an email, a monthly email that talks about obviously their property's values, and then within the dashboard you can go to manage homes and see each different individual dashboard.
Okay, all right, just making sure, because that would be terrible. Okay, I think we're through all the questions, and look at that, 8 on. Okay, of course, Bonnie. I love your.
I have 24 leads. How much does that cost a month or a year? How does that work? How's
2,400. She has 2,400.
Yeah.
You said 2,400, Bonnie?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you want to just scan the QR code, I'll go through and we'll go through all the pricing and all of that stuff. If you want to schedule a demo with me, we'll go through full pricing and onboarding and all of that good stuff on there.
I started it, but it's asking me for how many clients and it's not letting me type anything in there.
Is it let you do a drop down of roughly how many? It should say less than 500 or
It should, but it's not working.
Nothing works on Bonnie's phone or computer. So.
Okay. Bonnie, do you want to just drop your email in here and I can set up a time and we'll chat?
I just emailed you, or do you want me?
Perfect. Nope, that's great. If you just emailed me, then I'll follow up here in a second.
Okay, W. Sorry.
No, Bonnie, this would be really good for your database, and she has a couple different CRMs. Do you guys work with Sync?
We do. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also can integrate with multiple CRMs as well. So.
Oh, so say you have Follow Up Boss, Sync, and Lofty. You can do all three and everything will be the same. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Carrie will like that. She has like 4.
Love it. Awesome.
Okay, you
Great.
guys. Well,
Thank you guys for having me.
thank you guys for coming on and sharing your wisdom. Like I said, I'm still in training, but I'm loving every minute of it, and so is my team. So if you have a team, it's even really good for that. So I never like gave out seller leads. You know, I've been in the business 20 years. I generate sellers for me, right? But there's literally so many sellers coming out of here. I had to get my team involved because there is no way I could work all of them. So that's pretty cool. And then if you're trying to build a team, even better, guess what? You could be like, hey, you need some seller leads? Come on over. Anyway, good stuff. Love it.
Wendy, how many contacts would you say you have?
Well, I have 86,000. So remember, it's only the ones with emails, right? So I have a lot that don't have emails. We're still working on that. But I also have a lot of agents in there. So you can specifically say not this person and not this, like stage or not tag this. So like you can tell them so now they're working on 51,000. Yeah. They're working on 51,000. And the cool thing is that they got through and touched all 51,000 people in 30 days. So like when I try to send an email out, to over 400 people, I kind of get in trouble, but they're sending out emails to 2,400, 3,200 a day. So, that's pretty cool. I don't know how they do it, but I'm letting them do it so that I don't get in trouble. And then,
Do you still have street text?
Oh yeah. And actually I just ran cash offers because they allow you to like make your own landing pages. So I did a landing page for a cash offers program, and I just screenshotted what my beautiful page looked like because they made it beautiful. And I ran a traffic ad through street text directly to the form that they start filling out for a cash offer. So if you have cash offer things at your company like we do, or if you have a bunch of investors that are wanting to buy homes, like this would be a really good people want to hear about the cash offer. I mainly use it as a tool, so that I can kind of go in there and say, yep, we have cash offers. They're going to be a lot less than what you want. Or we could do this, this, and this to your home and get you top dollar and go to market. 99% of the people go to market.
Yep.
So, but you got in the door.
And so with the call to actions and things like that on the Fello platform, you actually are able to like stand up a cash offer program because all the call to actions are essentially just a conduit for that hand raiser. You don't necessarily have to have any sort of vendor, iBuyer, or investor behind you. You can offer that option to your database and then script around bringing them to market traditionally, like Wendy said.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know. Most agents don't realize this, but you as an agent can go into Open Door and put an address in there and get a cash offer. You could go to OfferPad. You can, so you don't have to have Express certified, designation. You actually can just do it through there. They don't know that, So anyway, I mean, they will know it once you show them. But when you can show them options, like this is what we could get, or let's go do this, Okay.
Wendy, do you have sync also?
I do not. But
Okay.
Yeah, I have straight text, follow up boss, Fello, and I have KV Core because that's free. And then I do have my luxury website, but my main tech stack is now street text, Fello, and follow up boss.
And is your luxury website with luxury presence?
It is. Just because I want to point my luxury people to something luxury.
Yeah, and in my market, it seems to be extremely common. I've been wondering about, should I do that eventually as well?
All right, I have a link for you, so reach out to me if you need it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thanks again, guys. Sorry, we are over time now, but that's it.
I'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Yes. Let me know when you want to meet up next.
You got it.
We'll just
all right. Happy. I know weekends don't really exist in real estate, but happy Friday, guys.
All right. Hey, see you guys. Bye.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.